Alright, this is NET-113, and in the date, this is 11/1/16. We talked about installing hard drives, and this would be fairly common to replace a hard drive or add a hard drive and so forth. Make sure you know your starting point, review documentation, and so forth. And we did the installs in class. We also talked about issues with a laptop, life of the machine. Are you going a bigger hard drive or replacing one that's damaged? And we talked about using some common sense. And I did talk a little bit about old laptops where I would do a kill disk and then install Linux on them, and that seemed to function well because we didn't have the GUI to deal with, depending on what you want to use it for. We talked a little bit about some security things actually came up in class. Talked about security and accessing servers, network access control, where we check to see if we're going to allow a machine on the network. Access control lists at the transport layer. So up here you can have, passwords and so forth on your servers, but if you can stop devices from getting into your network, and this all came from the idea of using a flash drive to boot to another operating system on your network. We reviewed RAID, the different levels, performance, increase in performance, and something like RAID 5 for fault tolerance. Have at least 3 drives. You can replace a drive. We talked about 2 drive, RAID 1. Get your dating, then you have your copy, and it's mirroring all the time. And we talked a little bit about RAID in hardware, or design RAID in software. Tapes for backup, they're cheap, they're sequential. Years ago went from tape to zip drives into maybe storing on optical. We talked a little bit about backup to the cloud, talked about cost, key things when you back up, what you're going to back up, when it needs to back up, and where you're going to put it. Talked about file systems, depending on the operating system. So some Windows examples, FAT, there was FAT32, NTFS, how the data is stored on the disk, and how that table or directory, you got a name, connects to that, and is able to find the file out on the disk. So we have some method to do that that's organized based on the file system. Okay. And then we talked about hard drive problems. We talked about the difference between GUI and DOS-based command line interface or in text. The old DOS issues with memory. We talked a little bit about backup here. An example of some issues relating to directories and file names. We finished up talking about removable storage, and we talked about the issues with security, with devices leaving, coming back in. How are they secured when they're not on location? How do you stop viruses from coming back in? People booting from their devices and so forth. And then we took the Chapter 6 final. And on Thursday, Oops, Thursday will be Chapter 7. And we'll get started on that. Alright, that's it.